The Priory of the Sacred Flame Mythic Plus Guide. Very quickly, going to describe how this guide is set up. The video is split into chapters, you can find them down below. The first chapter will describe any notable trash, the second chapter will cover the boss mechanics and abilities, and the third chapter will be role-specific duties. I have downloadable cheat sheets for all dungeons and raids in the link below. The dungeon entrance is going to be located in Hollowfall on the upper northwest side of the city of Miraldar. Captain Dailcrys Trash. There are a bunch of different mobs here with 3 unique named mobs. You must kill at least 2 of these named mobs as they draw out the boss's trusted guards. These guards massively buff the boss, so you have to draw them out in order to remove that buff. The Arathi Footmen use a defend ability. This creates a small bubble that reduces all damage done to them and any other mob that's inside. You can use a hard CC or just kite the other mobs away until this ends. Fervent Sharpshooters will throw out 4 caltrops. These will apply a bleed to you and trap you for 4 seconds. Arathi Knights have a Disrupting Shout ability that deals party damage and interrupts spell casting for 4 seconds, so make sure you aren't in the middle of a cast when this goes off. They also apply an 18-second bleed to a random party member. Devout Priests will use Greater Heal. This needs to be interrupted every time. Fanatical Conjurers use Flame Strike. This is marked by a large red circle, so just avoid these. Light Spawns will use Purification. This is a channeled ability that deals heavy damage. They are immune to CC, so I advise using a defensive if you're targeted. Their final ability is called Burst of Light, and this triggers around 25% HP. It is shown by a circle. This deals big damage if you're inside, and it also heals any enemies that are inside, so tanks should quickly move those mobs away. Now let's cover the named mobs and the trusted guards. Due to tuning, it is advised to fight Suleiman, who's in the middle, and Amia, who is to the south. Suleiman has 2 attacks to be aware of. Shield Slam will hit the tank and knock them backwards, so watch your positioning so you're not getting knocked into unnecessary mobs. His Thunderclap ability hits the party, doing damage and applying a 6-second slow. Once down, he summons the first guard, Sergeant Chainmail. Chainmail will use Lunging Strike. This targets a random player and is a small cleave that applies a bleed, so stay slightly spread out. His other attack is Brutal Smash. This is shown with a brown circle, so just move away. Now for High Priestess Amia. The main thing to worry about here is her Reflective Shield ability. This will reflect 40% of all damage done to her back at you, so pop a defensive when she activates this. Once down, she summons Terradual Mao. His main ability is Cinder Blast. This targets the tank and does heavy damage plus a stun. This needs to be interrupted with every cast. His other main ability is Ember Storm, which he'll channel, and it marks the ground with a bunch of red circles, so just keep moving to avoid them. Just to cover the last mob, to the north is Forge Master Damien. This guy just deals a bunch of constant party damage, so it's best to just avoid him, especially in the hierarchies. Captain Dailcry. So now that you've defeated 2 of his 3 guards, head to Dailcry where you'll face off against him and Elena Emberlands. You can pretty much ignore damaging Elena. Your main DPS focus should be on the boss. Elena does have a few abilities. Repentance is the most important, and it must be interrupted every time. It deals damage and incapacitates her target for 8 seconds. She will also use Divine Judgment against the tank. This increases the tank's damage taken by 25%, lasting for 8 seconds. Her final ability is Holy Radiance, where she will just pulse party damage over 8 seconds. Captain Dailcry himself, he will use Hurl Spear. This is shown with a line, so be sure to avoid this as it's massive damage. Battlecry is interruptible and needs to be interrupted with every cast. This will deal party damage plus buff the guard that's with him, increasing their damage done by 50%. His Pierce Armor is targeted towards the tank. This deals physical damage and applies a 10-second bleed. His 100 energy attack is Savage Mauling. He will shield himself as his mount attacks a random party member. The player being attacked needs to pop a defensive, and everyone should quickly burn down his shield to stop this attack. Role-specific duties. Tanks. Try to keep the boss and guard together for easy interrupts. Be aware of Divine Judgment and Pierce Armor overlapping, as this can deal massive damage. Healers. The person targeted with Savage Mauling needs healing. Holy Radiance deals party damage over 8 seconds. DPS. Interrupt Repentance and Battlecry every time. Primarily focus damage on Dailcry, and pop a defensive if you're targeted with Savage Maul. Baron Braunpyke's Trash. There are 3 mobs in this area. Devout Priests still exist, so interrupt their Greater Heal. Zealous Templars will use Templar's Wrath. Tanks need to be aware of this as it increases their damage by 30% for 10 seconds. This can be purged. Ardent Paladins will use Sacred Toll. This deals a burst of party damage. Their main ability, however, is Consecration and is shown by a circle underneath them. This drops to their feet, so these mobs need to constantly be kited around. Baron Braunpyke. This is a high movement fight where everyone should stay loosely grouped up. For positioning, tanks should start on one side of the room and then move to the other side of the room after he drops his hammers. So let's cover it. His Hammer of Purity attack will bring down 3 hammers on top of players, which are shown by a circle. Once they land, they begin spinning and rotating outwards, growing in size. This is why it's beneficial to group up on one side and then run to the other after the hammers drop. Otherwise, you need to dance around them. His other attack is Castigator's Shield. This hits 3 random players and then detonates, which is visible by a large circle, so just run out. He will cast Burning Light. This will deal damage and heal him, so be sure to interrupt this. His final ability is Sacrificial Pyre. He places this in the room and it is shown by a gold circle with 3 floating lights. Players must run into this in order to remove all 3 charges. Each time a player runs into it, you obtain a stackable debuff that deals damage over 12 seconds, so only do it once unless you have an immunity or a strong magical defensive. If charges are not removed, it deals massive party-wide damage. The final note here is that Baron will use Vindictive Wrath, which lasts for 30 seconds. This increases his damage and empowers all of his abilities. So now there are 5 hammers instead of 3, 5 Castigator Shield hits, and 5 charges that must be removed from the pyre. Role-specific duties. Tanks, keep moving the boss from one side to the other to avoid the hammers. Be aware of the damage increase during Vindictive Wrath. Healers, Castigator's Shield deals a burst of party damage, and expect bursts of party damage while the charges are being removed, and then of course the 12-second dot. DPS, stay grouped up for hammer baits. Use a defensive when you're removing the pyre charges. Prioress Murrpray Trash. All risen mobs in this room will deal a small burst of party damage when they are defeated, so be mindful if you're pulling large groups. Devout Priests and Light Spawn are also present here, so interrupt the heals and watch for the Purification channel, plus the healing explosions. Risen Mages use Firebolt Volley, and this needs to be interrupted as it deals party damage. Sir Braunpyke is in the middle of the room. Once he is engaged, he constantly pulses party damage until he's defeated, so he needs to be the primary focus. Prioress Murrpray. This is a single phase fight with a brief intermission. She constantly uses Holy Smite, which is interruptible. This just deals holy damage to the tank. Holy Flame marks a circle underneath the random player. Move out of this as it will stun you. Blinding Light is a 4-second cast. This will stun you for 4 seconds if you're facing her when it goes off. So right before it finishes, make sure to turn your character around. Inner Fire will buff her damage by 50% and deals pulsing party damage over 10 seconds. But her main ability here is Sacred Flame. This targets one player and then a beam of light tracks them, leaving a ground effect behind. The player targeted should run away from the party until it finishes. The intermission will trigger at 50% HP. She will teleport to the top of the stairs and begin channeling Embrace the Light. This deals pulsing party damage and gets stronger the longer it lasts. The party needs to quickly pursue after her and begin DPSing her shield down. Once the shield is down, you can interrupt her cast. As a final note, she will continuously spawn adds that run up the stairs after you. You need to cleave them down as they do deal pulsing party damage to anyone that's close, so this can overwhelm your healer if there's too many of them. Once she's interrupted, the battle resumes just like before. Role-specific duties. Tanks, try to keep the boss in one place. Be aware of her damage increase with Inner Fire. Healers, expect party damage during Inner Fire and expect ramping party damage during the intermission. DPS, run the Sacred Flame Beam away from the party. Have a big damage cooldown ready to break the shield and then interrupt her cast. Make sure you're cleaving down the adds. That's it for the Priory of the Sacred Flame. Shout out to these channel members. If this video helped them, press the thumbs up. Subscribe if you enjoy WoW content. I have plenty of guides, tips, tricks, podcasts, and more. You can show extra support by becoming a channel member. It's 99 cents a month and gives you early ad-free access to all my videos. Check out the Prefessional merch. I'll see you in the next one.